Victoria was born September 23, 1836, in California. She was the seventh child out of 10. She lived most of her youth in Ohio. Victoria was a very well-traveled young woman and became very quickly influenced by the English women's movement in Europe and decided to move to the East Coast. Victoria married her first husband when she was 20 years old to Dr. Channing Woodhull. Victoria and her sister Teenie became the first women brokers in the 1870s to open a brokerage firm on Wall Street. Victoria married her second husband in 1865 to Colonel James Blood and divorced him 1 year later and moved to England. Victoria's speeches were so impressive that the suffragists invited her to speak at their National Women's Suffrage Association convention. Its leaders, Susan B. Anthony, Isabella Beecher Hooker, sister to Harriet Beecher Stowe, Lucretia Mott, and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, admired Victoria Woodhull for defending her beliefs and welcomed her publicity, as it brought important issues into light. Her self-confidence put her into a position of leadership within the suffragist movement. In an attempt to bring more attention to the National Women's Suffrage Association, Victoria Woodhull argued that women already had the right to vote. All they had to do was use it, since the 14th and the 15th Amendment granted that right to all citizens. She became well known and applauded for her statement, "Women are the equals of men before the law, and are equal in all their rights." With the power of her first public appearance as a women's rights advocate, Woodhull moved into the leadership circle of the suffragette movement. Victoria supported free love and wished to introduce it into the women's movement, because, as women who married in the United States during the 19th century were bound into unions, whether loveless or not, with few options to escape, divorce were possible, but were often viewed as scandalous, and women who divorced were stigmatized and often ostracized by society. She rallied against the hypocrisy of society's tolerating married men who had mistresses and often engage in other sexual relations. Although her Constitution argument that the 14th and 15th Amendment granted the right to all citizens to vote, it unfortunately failed. Therefore, she stated that she would run for president. Victoria Woodhull was nominated for President of the United States by the newly formed Equal Rights Party on May 10, 1872. She brought unprecedented public attention to the women's movement as she spoke publicly against the government being composed only of men. She proposed developing a new constitution and a new government. Her opponents attacked her personally. They called her everything from a witch to a prostitute. They accused her of having an affair with married men. At first, Victoria responded to the slander by taking the high road and ignoring the abuse. She believed that the private matters of public figures were just that, private. Still, the rumors didn't subside, and she found that she had to justify her private behavior in public. After a while, they caused her trouble with her former allies and ended up losing her support from the Feminist Party.